Recently, Canary Wharf was visited by a pack of painted guide dog statues in aid of Guide Dogs UK. In this video, I'm going to show you each dog, and I'll also read you its description, an explanation of the design from the artist, and a touch and smell element that were included in some of the guided tours. For a more full video of our day out, see the link in the description or at the end of this video. Here we go. Sculpture 1. Dot to Dog. Designed and painted by professional artist Clark Reynolds, an artist with sight loss. A blue dog with purple and blue spots inspired by colour blindness tests. Some of the spots are raised, forming letters from the Braille alphabet. Dot to Dog was inspired by the colour blindness tests. Embedded in the design is the Braille alphabet raised in acrylic domes. A visual madness, but when touched you will discover the dog's secret. Touch element. A sheet of Braille related to the Braille alphabet which is hidden among the dots in the design. Scent. A clinical smell associated with the clinical environments where colour blindness and other tests are often conducted. Sculpture 2. Hearts of Gold. Designed and painted by professional artist Marnie Mori. A dog with dark blue background covered in different sized golden hearts. The largest heart is on the dog's chest. This design was based, quite simply, on the fact that all dogs, and especially guide dogs, are full of love and have absolute hearts of gold. I've covered this lovely sculpture in super shiny gold hearts of varying sizes, with the biggest one being right on the dog's chest. Touch element. A soft, warm blanket. Scent. Vanilla or a warm smell. Sculpture 3. Ben. Designed by some of the Year 6 students at Ben Jonson Primary School in Tower Hamlets through a school design competition. Their winning design was brought to life by experienced trail artist Jill Busby. A white dog with one green ear and one orange ear, plus brightly coloured mini dogs painted all over, featuring each dog's name in Braille underneath. The sculpture is called Ben, named after Ben Jonson Primary School. Each member of their Year 6 class designed a mini dog. We wrote the names of our dogs in Braille and used neon colours to make sure our sculpture is accessible. We chose names like Angel and Buddy to show how guide dogs can help people. Touch element. A vegan leather dog collar. Scent. Fresh dog biscuits. Sculpture 4. Trusty. Designed and decorated by professional artist Lauren Malarkey. A dog covered in small tiles making a mosaic. The dog's chest is covered in multicoloured tiles that form a rainbow heart that then spreads out across its shoulders, and it has a yellow mosaic harness. Highlighting the incredible bond shared between guide dogs and their owners, Trusty's tactile design beckons a closer investigation with a shiny and reflective face. Comforting and dependable like a strong-rooted tree, this kind hound radiates love, care and inclusivity. Touch element. A key. Scent. Earth or soil. Sculpture 5. Rosetta. Designed and painted by professional artist Amanda Quellin. A black dog wearing a red collar and a gold dog coat with different coloured rosettes. The rosettes contain words that describe people's dogs, such as loyal, trust and partner. I wanted to celebrate how wonderful our dogs are and asked people to give one word to describe their dogs. I've put those on rosettes on a gold background. Touch element. A rosette. Scent. Rose flowers. Sculpture 6. Herbie's Tale. Designed and painted by professional artist Gayani Ariaratne. A yellow dog. The dog's chest is covered in white and yellow daisy-style flowers that are raised. The dog's lower half is covered with vibrant flowers on a green background. Inspired by the lush gardens and parks of Canary Wharf and the wonderful connection between dogs and green spaces. This design is influenced by my visit to the diverse plant-filled Crossrail Place garden and nearby parks, which have native herbs and plants from around the world. Touch element. Herbs and flowers. Scent. Rosemary and thyme. Sculpture 7. Guidelines. Designed and painted by professional artist Sue Guthrie. A black and white swirl patterned dog. The black swirl pattern is slightly textured, whereas the white swirls are smooth. Guidelines is inspired by the artwork of icon Bridget Riley, whose art epitomises London cool in the 1960s. My hope is that the bold design will appeal to all, with tactile elements making it accessible to vision-impaired visitors. The white elements are smooth and the black elements slightly raised and textured. Touch element and scent, mint humbugs. Sculpture 8. Guide Dog Adventures. Designed and painted by artist Sian Healy, an artist with sight loss. A realistic yellow dog with a white guide dog's harness. On the dog's back are postcards of guide dogs and their owners from different parts of the UK. The dog sculpture is based on my own blonde guide dog, Uri. On its back are 4 original paintings or postcards. These feature a guide dog and owner in well-known locations around the UK. Touch element, daffodils and thistles. Scent, daffodils. Sculpture 9, For the Love of Dogs. Designed and painted by professional artist Jess Perrin. A cream-coloured dog covered in a colourful pattern featuring dogs, their owners, toys, and some dog-related words, such as lie down, woof, and good. Having recently got a puppy of my own, I've been thrown headfirst into all things dog. My design features lots of dogs, some with their owners, their favourite toys, and their little quirks. My style is very fun and playful, both in colour and subject matter. Touch element, a squeaky dog toy. Scent, freshly cut grass. Sculpture 10, Jurassic Bark. Designed and painted by professional artist Tim Sutcliffe. A dog that looks like a blue dinosaur with textured scales and has horns growing out of its nose, ears and neck. The dog has a red collar and red and gold harness with yellow eyes. This idea came from creating something a bit more tactile. The design has various horns, spines and scales applied to it to make it look like a dinosaur and give the sculpture itself lots of different textures for those not able to appreciate it visually. Touch element, rubbery, scaly skin. Scent, a swampy jungle smell. Sculpture 11, Visionaries. Designed and painted by professional artist Lois Cordelia. A dog covered with different faces of famous people past and present with lived experience of sight loss, including Louis Braille, Claude Monet, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder and Dame Judi Dench. Portraits of historical people past and present who had vision impairment or sight loss, some famously, others less so. The painterly background loosely references Monet's water lilies. Touch element, a sheet of braille. Scent, oil paints. Sculpture 12, Pause for Thought. Designed and painted by artist duo and sisters Philippa and Rachel Colcott. A dog wearing a gold collar with a purple head fading to a blue body. The body is covered in colourful flora and fauna and features Canary Wharf cityscape illustrations. This design evokes a sense of calm and mindfulness and the importance of taking a break from the hustle and bustle of the city. Inspired by the lush vegetation and plants in the famous Canary Wharf Sky Garden, we want to reflect the oasis of calm found in a busy and lively city, and draw on the sensory experiences that gardens provide. Touch element, a fern. Scent, chamomile. Sculpture 13, Poncho. Designed and painted by professional artist duo Dan and Charlotte, also known as Art and Believe. A dog covered with a colourful and vibrant geometric design inspired by Southern American ponchos. Our inspiration comes from our travels. Ponchos are originally a woven garment worn in South America. The vibrant, colourful, geometric poncho acts as a beacon of light. It is nurturing, warm, protective, and makes you feel safe. It emulates the amazing commitment and loyalty of guide dogs. Touch element. Hand-woven South American blankets. Scent, coffee beans. Sculpture 14. Where's Thea? Designed and painted by professional artist Caroline Daly. The dog is painted light blue and is covered in flowers and plants. Hidden in the foliage are illustrations of dogs. The design is based on search and find books. It is covered with flowers and wildlife reflecting nature. There are 5 dogs hidden amongst the wildlife. It highlights the sense of sight. The viewer needs to work a bit harder to see the dogs, encouraging them to think about sight and people with sight loss. Touch element. Flowers and grass. Scent. Wildflowers. Sculpture 15. Cobalt. Designed and painted by professional artist Jenny Leonard. A yellow dog with different phrases painted on, such as raising awareness, inspiring people, living actively, independently and well, and improving accessibility. The dog has painted scenes of people walking with their guide dogs. As a live scribe, my design reflects and quotes the important values of guide dogs and brings them to life. Those are in contrasting colours throughout a landscape that wraps around the dog's body, with little silhouetted motifs of dogs and people with guide dogs. Touch element. A soft fabric heart. Scent. Blueberries. Sculpture 16. Bark to the Future. Designed and painted by professional artist Glenn Brooks. A multicoloured, metal, futuristic patchwork robot dog. Dog Brown is written across the dog's shoulders, with rivets detailing the words in Braille. Bark to the Future is based around the old sci-fi tin toys of the 1950s and is also inspired by the 1980s film Back to the Future. He's a time-travelling guide robot that has been sent from the future to save humanity using his bravery, keen sense of smell, loyalty and intelligence. Touch element. A sheet of metal or popping candy. Scent. Oil. Sculpture 17. Life is Golden. Designed and painted by professional artist Becky Smith. A gold dog with a multicoloured floral and nature pattern, including butterflies and birds. The dog has a red collar and a yellow harness with black handles. At night, the dog glows in the dark. The design is inspired by life itself and nature. It will glow in the dark to represent seeing things from a different perspective, and to show that sometimes things are there that you just can't see. Touch element and scent. Flowers and fruits. Sculpture 18. Spectrum. Designed and painted by professional artist Mr. A. Singh. A dog with brightly coloured dots on a pale pearlescent background. Some dots are slightly raised. A tactile guide dog with dots that form a map of touch. Some dots, subtly raised, guide fingers along the spectrum of emotions. Spectrum reminds us that every touch tells a story, and every dot is a step on the remarkable journey of those who navigate the world through touch. Touch element. Velvety fuzzy patches. Scent. Lavender. Sculpture 19. Day Off at the Beach. Designed and painted by professional deaf artist Oliver Jamin. A dog is covered with sand and has foot and paw prints spread out across the sand. The dog wears a shell-covered harness. Imagine a guide dog owner with their dog romping along the beach, leaving foot and paw prints, creating patterns, rhythms, and vibrations in the sand in a visual representation of sound. When the owner removes the dog's working harness, the dog knows it's playtime and can run and explore until it's time to put the harness back on. Touch element. Pebbles and sand. Scent. Salty seawater. Sculpture 20. Straight On. Designed and painted by professional artist Angela Charles, an artist with sight loss. A green, grey and pink dog with black markings. The words straight on written across its harness, with other commands and words, such as right, good, and sit down across the dog's body. The design is themed on independence and freedom, which is what my guide dog Flynn gives me. I used GPS to track our walking routes, and those lines formed a starting point for my mark making. I used colours that reminded me of an old globe to form a design, and incorporated some commands I give Flynn, like straight on. Touch element. Leather, as found on a guide dog's harness handle. Scent. Countryside scent. Sculpture 21. Baskerville. Designed and painted by professional artist Mick Richardson. A dog dressed as Sherlock Holmes, wearing a deerstalker hat, tweed jacket, trousers and boots. His tag has the address 221B Baker Street on it. Our intrepid hero dog Holmes is on the case and ready for adventure. In his cape and deerstalker hat, he's unmistakable as the super sleuth. The inspiration behind the design was the Sherlock Holmes adventure, Hound of the Baskervilles. Touch element. A tweed deerstalker hat. Scent. Woodland smell. Sculpture 22. Hope and Resilience. Designed and painted by professional artist Kevin Gawahan, an artist with sight loss. A dog with an abstract painting on its hind legs of a person bending over their knees, but being held up by small figures. There is a person's face on the dog's back, and they are holding out a hand. The dog has blue, green and grey swirls on its upper body. My design represents tackling the difficulties we face in life, recognising, owning life challenges and pushing onwards for a better life. Acceptance of the good and striving to do better. Recognising life is challenging and beautiful at the same time. Touch element, water. Scent, wildflowers and grass. Sculpture 23. Every man has their day. Designed and painted by professional crossover street artist Dom Pattinson. A multicoloured spray-painted dog covered in paint drips and graffitied motifs such as a heart, lips and butterflies. The dog aims to represent the urbanisation of the world for people with sight loss. The colours, coupled with the three-dimensional elements of the drips, bridge the gap between seen and unseen, by giving the senses and the everyday world they interact with a unique form. Touch element, water. Scent, grass. Sculpture 24. A tangle with colour. Designed and painted by the artist Alex Devlin, an artist with sight loss. A dog with a black collar covered with bright multicoloured swirls and patchwork like a knitted wool pattern. The design, painted like yarn with occasional breaks and loose stitches, features abstract representations of natural elements based on my surroundings, such as the greenery towards the bottom and the sun towards the top. It has patterns inspired by dogs, and my eye condition is represented by the inward-outward spirals around the eyes. Touch element, knitting and balls of yarn. Scent, cake and tea. Sculpture 25. Dog stars. Designed and painted by professional artist Donna Newman. A purple dog covered with stars, a moon, and constellations of other dogs who were former guide dogs. Their names are written beside their constellation designs, including Flash, Judy, and Folly. The design is a tribute to the amazing service dogs who are no longer with us. They were superstars to their owners, providing the gift of independence. Inspired by the brightest star, Sirius, known as the Dog Star, the design features illustrations of dogs among the stars, including Judy, Flash, Folly, and Meta, the first ever British guide dogs. Touch element, metallic stars. scent, gunpowder. Well, that covers all the 25 statues from Paws on the Wharf. If you'd like to donate to Guide Dogs, you can go to guidedogs.org.uk and you can donate there. Else, thank you very much for watching.